Hello, everyone. This is Pamela Topjan, your host for Holistic Connections, conversations with holistic practitioners. And you read the thumbnail and you see my guest is a man today. So it's so important. We mostly have women in this space. I have had a couple male guests, but I think it's important for anybody watching and listening, share this out with the men in your lives because this is going to be so important for every man to hear, whether they are in trouble or not, or whether they're going through anything or not. You might not even know it because men like to hide it. So, so I will let my guest introduce himself and share what you do in the holistic healing world, please.
Super. First, Pamela, it's great to be here and nice to talk to you. My name is Andy Grant. I'm a transformation coach, energy healer, suicide prevention activist, and podcast host. I host a show called Real Men Feel, encouraging men to come out of the emotional closet. I come into this because for a very long time, from a very young age, I was depressed and suicidal. And I find that the best way to prevent suicide is to talk about it.
Yeah.
And one of the best things I found for my own healing was energy work and things that I made fun of and discounted until I actually tried them and felt tremendous benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you really have to try it to know for sure. So you're an author of several books, but the one book, Still Here, How to Succeed in Life When After Failing at Suicide. So I just want to say thank you for staying. The work that you are doing is so important, and it just gives me chills when I read that title. So you're encouraging other men to stay as well who have
Oh yeah.
felt that. So thank
Yeah.
you for that.
I don't recommend my path to anyone because it took me multiple so-called failed attempts to
Yeah.
just have the glimmer of the possibility that maybe I'm supposed to be here. Like
Yeah.
I did well in school, but this
Mhm.
lesson took me way more than it should have to fully grasp and own. Right.
Yeah, the universal lessons sometimes have to knock you over the head and knock you
Right.
on the ground or into a wall for you to really get them for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And,
get that.
so many men have been taught that physical fitness matters,
Hmm.
but our emotional health and our spiritual health has been ignored for far too long.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to share, there's so many different services and so many different offerings that you have. If you want to go down kind of the list and maybe talk mostly about out of all of them that you feel is the most misunderstood or that people may not have heard about before.
Okay. So I have been into energy work for goodness, 20 years now.
Hmm.
The first training I took was back in 2010. It was an energy coaching program to tune into people and read blogs and move other people's energies out of them. Because even before that, I know someone had told me when I was feeling really suicidal, someone tuned into me from across the country and said,
Hmm.
Andy, it's not even your energy. And I was like, great. What the hell does that mean? I have no idea what to do with that. So that's what got me into this process. It was all literally the tools I use with clients are what I use to save my own life.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And there are plenty of things I tried that didn't work, and I don't bother sharing those. But one of the most powerful things I found is in 2016, I discovered the Modern Mystery School and became an initiate. And these are healings and rituals and tools that some go back over 8,000 years.
Yeah.
The mystery school is the creation. It's in the lineage of King Solomon, the son of David, slayer of Goliath, the wise man in the Bible, that King Solomon. He gathered all these various shamans and healers and had them study and work with each other for 30 years. And what everybody could learn, what everybody benefited from, anything that didn't require some strict dogma or other practices,
Hmm.
became the foundation of the mystery school.
Wow.
And the primary healing out of that, today it's called a life activation.
Hmm.
And it literally puts in more light into your physical body.
Wow.
It illuminates. We have physical DNA. We also have
Mhm.
spiritual DNA.
Yeah.
So that notion of purpose and meaning and divine path all get strengthened. Your innate abilities, your intuitive gifts are all strengthened and reinforced. I often say that the road you're meant to travel on it stands out. Like what you want to do is illuminated and it wants you to come to it. So your life is
Yeah.
activated on both ends of the spectrum. And when I did mine in 2016, I remember like 10 minutes into it looking like, I have no idea what this woman is doing, but I know I'm going to learn how to do this. And so there was a career change, my prior coaching work, prior doing Akashic record readings. I
Mm-hmm.
could work with anybody around the world. The challenge with the mystery school healings is they can only be done in person,
Ah,
right?
okay.
So it's such a specific energy,
Mm-hmm.
whereas, I might blast you with good vibes with some
Mm-hmm.
remote Reiki, but
Mm-hmm.
to really fine tune the light
Yeah.
going in, we put the light into 14 specific areas of your physical body, and it just has to be in person. But
Yeah.
there were practitioners, certified life activation practitioners in over 55 countries. Like, so I'm in Massachusetts, and if I ever
Okay.
meet anyone that from shows like this, you reach out, this interests you, I'll help you find someone near you.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like you, yeah, this isn't magic because Andy Grant does it. Like,
Right.
it's magic because it works, and I want more
Right.
people to get what works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that really shows that you really care about people's well-being and not just them reaching out to you,
Right,
So yeah,
right, yeah. Like
appreciate that.
if I ever run for president, my platform is life activation for everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be better than what we have right now. So we won't get political. But you were talking about some of the stuff that's been around forever, and I noticed on your website there's hermetic rebalancing, right? Is that the same kind of thing you're talking about, or is that something different?
Nope, that's another healing from the mystery school.
Okay,
So the
yeah.
life activation is kind of the first step, illuminates you, and some other healings to go deeper can require that as a kind of a first step.
Okay.
I also do something called soul retrieval,
Yep. I
which
saw
again is a
that.
shamanic tradition. A lot of people, places do it, and it's kind of anytime you've suffered trauma,
Hmm.
especially gone into a coma, had a near-death experience,
Mm.
pieces of our soul truly splinter off and like run for
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
And the soul retrieval invites those things back into you. And so whenever I meet someone, especially if they mention having a near-death experience, I really go, "Ooh, this could do
Yeah.
tremendous benefit for you." All right.
And would a suicide attempt then be sort of in that same realm of, even if, to say it in your words, you didn't succeed at that,
Yeah, yeah,
but
because it's
then,
really any trauma. Yeah, that speaking politically, when
hmm
I was first in the training for soul retrieval, they said, anyone that suffered trauma, really, that's when what makes a piece of your soul flee, so it can benefit anyone.
mm,
And it was, Trump had just won the first election, and said everybody was shocked that Trump won the presidency in the United States, so everybody has suffered trauma. Right. But
yeah.
yeah, so certainly a suicide attempt, a car accident,
Hmm.
all these seemingly minor things can cause it. But
Yeah.
it's mainly like if you've ever had a sense that I don't feel like I'm all together,
Mm,
right?
okay.
That's the biggest tell.
So it's not necessarily just like a near-death experience or anything like that. It can be any trauma that you feel untethered, really, or you feel
Right.
not,
Yeah.
just
It's
not
just that
yourself. Yeah.
the people if I meet someone on the street and part of the first thing of their story is a near-death experience or how they were
Uh,
in a coma for 6 months after some horrible accident, I'm like, have you ever had a soul retrieval? This might,
yeah.
and I just ask them like, do you feel complete? Do you feel like something's still missing? And they say yes. I'm like, all right,
Oh
this is
gosh.
what would benefit you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. I just got chills. Yeah. That's amazing.
It's a shamanic tradition. It's in lots of
Hmm.
different cultures. And back in the day, when we were more of a tribal collective
Yeah.
people, this process was done for everyone before they passed on, so that all of you is
Mm.
here to pass on to the next phase. Right.
Yeah. Bring every part of you together. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Awesome. I love that. So, how do you deal with people having misconceptions about the different offerings that you
Yeah.
have?
So all energy work is better experienced than it is
Yeah.
explained. It's like, are you curious enough to talk to me? Are you curious enough to dig deeper? Right.
Hmm.
And I jokingly can give a money back guarantee. Like you can have your old miserable life back if this isn't,
Right.
if you don't like the
We'll
joy
just
that you
undo
feel.
it.
Yeah, but you can't. And I've never.
Right. Right.
So the only warning I ever give around, especially around life activation, the things that you tolerate in your life that you know aren't good for you, they will be harder to tolerate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you
That's
see that
awesome.
downside as not a downside, then great.
But you have to be ready for real change because real change will happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But again, it's all changed for your benefit.
Hmm.
I have a lot of friends who are afraid of these things
Yeah.
because they'll somehow I don't know what they'll think the wrong thing would be emphasized, or
Hmm.
perhaps they fear they're in the wrong career and have been so long they're afraid to make a change even if it would
Yeah.
feel good. So there is that, and I get it, that
Yeah.
resistance that my comfort zone was
Right.
being depressed and suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a good place, but again, it still gave me a
It's
sense
what
of
you
distorted
knew. Yeah,
and
that makes
changing
sense.
our identity, even for like it's the old line, we're more afraid of our light than our darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I find that, to be very true.
Absolutely.
And, if I talk about how illuminated your life can be and how much joy you can have, and
Yeah.
people are like, that sounds great, but really oh man, that's
Yeah.
terrifying to me in some
Right.
sense.
I like it back here in my little dark corner. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I dropped out of college to avoid a mandatory public speaking class.
Mm.
That's how afraid of being seen I was.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about your podcast. Realmenfeel.org is where you can find it, also on YouTube. So talk about that a little bit, how you got started and where it's
Yeah.
going and the kinds of guests you have on. Yeah.
So it started 3 weeks after my life activation. I was like, real men
Ooh.
feel. Before that, I knew I felt called to do something for men. I had no idea what it was. In my energy coaching work, in my Akashic Records work, 80% of my clients always been women.
Mm-hmm.
But women, because of how I look, they assumed I had this like army of men that I served with me. And
Yeah.
I've had lots of women ask me to create some sort of dating mechanism where the people that are getting the men that are getting the light, the men that are on the spiritual path, and I hook them up with the women out there.
Oh
I'm like, no,
gosh.
sorry,
That's a
but
whole nother thing. Yeah.
yeah, I'll
Oh
mark that for
gosh.
the future possibly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
because
real men
women are
feel.
looking for men that are more, in touch with
Yeah,
their feelings and in the light. Yeah, that's
yeah.
funny.
So real men feel it's really exists because I had questioned, am I a man? Like I'm emotional, I am sensitive, I'm all these
Yeah.
things that I think are bad. I thought it was weakness that kept me
Mm-hmm.
alive through all the suicide attempts.
Mm.
But that little voice that said, don't do that, stay here, that was my
Yeah,
strength. So
absolutely.
in Real Men Feel, we have conversations reminding men that they're human beings
Mm.
and that it's not just okay to feel, we
Yeah,
need to.
right.
Right? We are human beings first. We have the full emotional range that women do,
Mm-hmm.
but we express and deal with it differently. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean we don't express it at all. And for
Yeah.
too many guys, it's emotions off.
Yeah.
I can be angry, horny, and hungry, and
Yeah.
that's it. And
Right.
that just
Yeah.
isn't the case. It isn't the case for a happy, healthy person.
Right.
And what I think this world needs most is happy, healthy men.
Yeah. So great. This world needs happy, healthy men for sure. Yeah. Happy, healthy people. And that includes men. Awesome.
Yeah, the show, the things we talk about, it could easily be, real humans.
Yeah.
Right? The majority of what I talk about applies to men and women equally. But just like there's deodorant for men, shampoo for men,
Right.
podcast for men,
Ridiculous. Yeah.
right? Yeah. But I have plenty
But
of female listeners. In fact, a
hmm
lot of guys will tell me that it's their girlfriend or spouse that found the
yeah.
show and said, you need to listen to this.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Yeah. And just like I was saying, to the women listeners on this show and this podcast, share this out with the men in your life. And the same with Real Men Feel. Share that out as well. Definitely. So you were mentioning that the soul retrieval, is that the one, or the life activation? Which services that you have can only be done in person with you, or and which ones are done remotely, virtually?
Yeah. So life activation and soul retrieval, those are both in person.
Okay,
I
yep.
have a remote healing called the Spark of Life, which
Hmm.
is it's remote. And that's real
Yeah.
that's powerful. Like all the participants of the mystery school during COVID, when we found out about anybody who was in a hospital, we
Mm.
did a Spark of Life session,
Oh,
and every
nice.
single person went home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, I had no idea it would be that good. Like it was so
Yeah.
all the end is it's just anecdotal, and I wish we had like documented it much better. But
Yeah.
it's helped people deal with chemotherapy, beat cancer, recover from surgeries quicker. This is something that goes back to ancient Egypt. It
Hmm.
brings the energy of the Egyptian temple to the person when the person can't make it to
Wow.
the temple.
Nice. So let's talk about your books. So we talked a little bit about your Still Here, but you've got other books as well. So you want to
I
talk about
do.
those a little bit?
Yeah, I have two books on positive affirmations. That
Hmm.
actually my first book was um, 200 Puzzle Positive Affirmations and the Tools to Use Them because I was in a positive psychology program and the professor said, the one thing I can tell you is positive affirmations don't work.
Mm.
And they were the one of the things that helped me the most. I
Yeah.
discovered Louise Hay And I
Yeah.
would do mirror work and tell myself that I love
Yes.
myself, hold in my own gaze. And I
Hmm.
couldn't do that at all at first.
It's
And
hard. I know. It's
yeah,
surprising so how hard that
yeah.
is. Yeah.
So more important than the list of affirmations in those books are the ways to use them.
Yeah.
Such things as mirror work, such as speaking them out loud, writing them
Hmm.
down. And, I find a lot of people have the misconception of they're doing affirmations right if they're easy to say and are comfortable.
Mm.
I think the resistance that shows up
Right.
is more telling. And that
Yeah.
tells you that you're working on the right thing. So to say something and your brain goes, I don't believe that,
Hmm.
fine. Keep saying it anyway.
Right.
Right?
That repetition, yeah, helps you
Right.
to believe it, helps it to sink in
Right.
deeper for sure. And like you said, if it's easy and comfortable, you're not breaking through any barriers. It's just right there on your lap or in front of you. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to break through some barriers to make
And
it
I have another
quote
book
unquote
about
work.
holotropic breath work. Have you done
Mm.
that at all? You're a breath work
No,
person? Oh,
no.
holotropic breath work is this communal deep breathing with set to like tribal music, and it's in a
Oh, yeah.
ballroom of people, and can go for over an hour.
Hmm.
And I was at a meditation retreat, had never heard of it, did it, and it was one of the most powerful things I've ever done in my life. And it was just via
Wow.
my breath.
Yeah.
Um, I I realized I had survived multiple suicide attempts,
Mm.
and it was almost like an acid trip just from my
Yeah.
breath. So what's happening is you over oxygenate the blood, and your
Yeah.
inner healer comes out. So I was like soaring through the universe and having a blast while I laid flat on my back in this ballroom,
Yeah.
and I
With
realized,
nothing,
wow,
with no
life is amazing.
substances, just
Yeah, I
your
was like, this is
breath.
such a blast. Life is
Yeah.
beautiful. It's awesome. And then I would go, oh, I tried to throw this away, and I'd start
Hmm.
bawling. And I was on
Oh,
this
mhm.
roller coaster of emotions during this session. I
Wow.
didn't want it to end, but once it did, I sent a bouquet of flowers to my mom, to my dad,
Oh,
and to myself,
yeah. Nice.
apologizing for what it
Oh,
put all of us through.
oh, I love
And
that.
it was really the first time I began to heal, not just learn or move on, but
Right.
heal all those attempts.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Wow.
and now breathwork is happening virtually.
Hmm.
Breathwork has really taken off. But I've done holotropic breathwork. I think I think 8 or 9 times now. Always different, always
Yeah.
just what you need. But again, it's breath.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Can't
I
hurt
want to
you.
go to high school and teach this. Like kids wouldn't do drugs if they knew they could
Right.
feel this weird on their own breath. Right?
Right. Right. So, do you teach people how to do this, or do you facilitate groups or one-on-one? How do you work with that with other
Yeah, I
people, or
don't.
do
I just
you?
spread the message. I
Okay.
encourage people to do it. Yeah, I've not become a trained breathwork
Okay.
facilitator at all. I just like doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, in turn promote other people to do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. And that's the other book. That's one of the other books you have too. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, I can't
Okay.
even think of the title now. He's not in front of me.
Um, oh, you do have one. I noticed one, Homer the Hound, Dog's
Oh,
Guide to Happiness. And I'm a
yeah.
pet sitter, by the way, so that stuck out to me.
And that actually, so Homer was my hound dog,
Yeah.
died after 10 years, died suddenly, and it was the his loss hit me harder than losing family members. But so that was a blog post I expanded into my own book.
Mm, okay.
Louise Hay saw my original blog post, and Homer and myself are in Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Heart.
Oh my
There's a,
gosh,
yeah,
how
there's a chapter about pet
exciting.
loss. Everyone looks at that chapter. The Homer is my dog Homer, Andy is me.
Oh,
And they said
awesome.
when they approved it, it was David Kessler was the co-author, and he told me that you and Homer are in the book, and you're Billy and Homer's Bruno. And I was like, what? I didn't know. He's like, oh, we always change names. I'm like, what? I'm like, you call me what you want, but like, oh yeah, like, oh, this is like Homer's legacy. So it was still time, and they made the change. So we're the only people in the book that are our real
Your
names.
real names. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So, where can people find your books and where can people find your podcast and where can people get in touch with you?
All right. My website, theandygrant.com, has links to the podcast, to books, to online courses, to all the offerings I have. So that's the best starting place to capture it all
Yeah.
because it is a big umbrella at times.
Yeah.
But as I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, so there's a lot out there. Um, and then yeah, the link to the podcast is there as well. But yeah, if you just search any podcast platform, Real Men Feel, you'll find it. We're up to over 365
Oh,
episodes.
nice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, won a couple of awards last
Oh,
year and have been getting ranked
congratulations.
in the top 60 mental health podcasts
Oh, that's
recently. And
great.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, I'm surprised. And you'll find this too if you haven't already. how many friends I have that began as podcast guests.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
podcasting has brought me so much more than just, downloads or something or
right.
clients. It's really,
Just the
yeah, I really feel
connections that
much
you
more.
make. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
there's a worldwide community as you share yourself authentically.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the surprises. I know I've heard other people say too. It's one of the surprises, the community that is built and not just, putting the information out there and like you said, views and downloads. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have your website listed in the show notes and in the description below. And is there anything else that you would like to share or make sure that people know before we end this today? I know there's
I
so
want, I
much.
yeah, I want the biggest thing. I want everyone to know how much they matter.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. You are divine.
Hmm.
Nobody is here by mistake. Nobody is like the leftover good parts from other people.
Right.
We are all God in physical form.
Hmm.
There's not a mistake about it. Don't have any doubts. You matter and you belong here.
Yeah, great message. Great message. So thank you once again so much from the bottom of my heart. This is so important. I think that you got a lot of information out there in this short time. So I'm sure that the listeners and the viewers have learned something today. And again, share this out with the men that you know, whether you're listening or watching. And thank you once again so much, Andy. I really
My pleasure.
appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye bye.